Alright everybody, how we doing? We are getting ready to go, well, we are live. We're getting ready to do this in a very impromptu fashion from the house. You may have heard or saw on Facebook that baby Bristol has been born, and she's sleeping right over here. Our other one's away at preschool, and my wife is here to help tend. If you guys could see the setup that we had with this whole thing, trying to rig it up with lights so I didn't look so dark. And anyway, I just wanted to be able to get on and get to go through this one with everybody. This has been kind of a burning topic with a lot of beginning personal training students, beginning rookie trainers coming in. So two of the bigger issues that we see, I call it common practice. Personal trainers have common practices that the industry has just kind of set up, and everybody just seems to follow it. And I don't really know why. It's just because it is. And because it is, a lot of people just roll with those punches and they start doing things that they don't really know why. And so when I bring them up and I ask them, why are you doing this? They don't really have an answer for us. So one of the things that we look at mostly are, well, two of the things are referrals, and then the second one is our pricing. And when we go through those two issues, or those two topics, three questions come up that I want to be able to answer. I know you guys probably can't see this all this well. This is more for my notes to speak on. I can send you the PDF when we're done if you want to email me. So question number one is, what is my worth, my true worth, financial worth as a trainer to my client? Question number two is, what is my value or my perceived value from my client to me? And then number three is, how do I continue to maintain or improve both of those? And so we'll see a personal trainer in one area or one location charge a certain rate, and then another one half a block away charging another rate. And it's not that one is too much or too little, but why are they not the same? What are the differences there? What is one offering that is worth more, that has a higher net worth, versus the other one that doesn't? And so those are the questions we want to be able to come across. And in most cases, the demand will kind of dictate your pricing. Your consumer will tell you if your prices are too high, because most of them just won't buy it. And as they continue to set prices, and as you continue to lower your prices, the value of what you offer will kind of level out at some number. But how do we get there? How do we start? And so those are the things that we want to jump into. So the first one is the referral, what we call a referral reward program. Now, a lot of different trainers, you might hear a yell here in a second, little one's waking up. A lot of trainers offer reward programs, and by doing so, they're offering basically a financial reward. So here's what typically happens, okay? Client comes in, starts working with a new trainer. They really like it, so they start telling their friends, which is exactly what we want. About 99.9% of new business for personal trainers comes from this format, so we're good with that. The friend signs up. The trainer then gives a discount to client number one for referring the second client in, or the friend in. And so now you have two different clients paying two different prices. One is of real value or perceived value, and the other one's at a discounted value. So even though you had a favor done to you and you had a new client referred in, you're no longer getting your true worth from client number one, or from the one that referred the client in. So here's why we don't want to do this, in my opinion, okay? Number one, clients know each other outside of the gym, and they'll get to talking. We've seen this happen in the past, and it's, you know, oh, you're paying 35, I'm paying 25, and then the question comes back to you, making for a fairly awkward conversation of trying to decide and give out proper information, let anybody know why they have a discount, why the other one doesn't, and so on. So that becomes a big issue. But the biggest issue is devaluing your services as the trainer. Okay, client number one's worth or value to you, and their perceived value of you is $30, where client number two is $25. So even though your overall value should be $60 for training those two clients, you're only being paid $55. And that right away, though we're saying thank you to our client, there are much better ways to do that. That right away puts you at a perceived value of less. You're valuing it that way, clients valuing it that way, and that's where the big issue is, okay? So we have to be able to look at this and say, because we're a referral-based business, almost 100% referral, ours completely is. I think since we've opened our doors 3 years ago, boy, I'd say 6 clients have just walked in, like saw our sign or whatnot. Everybody else 50, 55 clients have come from referrals, if not more. So we've had a lot of our business come from our current clientele, and that's what we want. We want people that are speaking for us and that are a representation of us. But there are better ways to thank them, in my opinion, because with demographics that you work with, there are certain rewards that I think fit to them better. Okay, so to give you an example, the country club that I used to work at, they offered a free iPad out to people that were referring and clients, and then your name would go into a raffle, and if you won, you got an iPad. And at a country club, everybody's got an iPad. The kids have an iPad, the dog has an iPad, everybody has an iPad. And so the iPad didn't have a whole lot of value to it, right? But when we did a personal luncheon, where we got to sit with our client and have lunch, just the husband, the wife, and then us, there was more value and perceived value in that, because it was something that they couldn't necessarily go and get themselves. It was our time, it was our interaction, our personal time, our trust and our value and our engagement, I think, that was more intriguing to people, because we build this connection with them. That's a better reward, in my opinion. Okay, so a couple of things to come into this. Instead of discounting away your value or discounting away the client's investment, add value, add additional service from you or additional value from you. So number one, add value versus taking away from the trainer. In a one-on-one situation, it's easy for me to say, just throw in, you'll see this one in a second, throw in an additional session per week for a month. So you're in a sense giving them 4 free workouts in addition to the 2 they already have scheduled, something along those lines, because we train in a semi-private model. So we could do that, plus you'll see in a second my handwritten note and my, our luncheon or whatever we want to do from there. You could do that type of thing as well. But in a one-on-one environment, that's tough, because now if you're thanking every client that gives you a referral with a free session, in a sense you're going to work a bunch of additional hours to train these one-on-one sessions, which is basically devaluing you, right? So now we're right back to where we started. So something we want to look at is this: is the client earns 1 additional complimentary session to what you're doing. You give them a handwritten note, you take them to lunch as well afterwards to say thank you, okay? This one client has referred 1 or 2 clients to you, so in that sense, if we have the average client is investing $200 a month, and we see them 2 or 3 months in a row, we're looking at $600 to $800 of initial investment or gross income from those clients. Then to commit a free hour, quote unquote, an unpaid hour, plus lunch and my time and my effort is totally worth it on my end, okay? The other side of that is you could purchase them something along the lines of a massage or some additional service or something like that would come up along with the handwritten note, which I always feel like is really a big one, and thanking them basically for the referral. I think your time and your energy and your ability to connect with your clientele outside of the gym is more valuable than giving them a discount, in my opinion, okay? In a semi-private model, we like to be able to say thank you by giving some additional sessions. So if our clients are set up for Tuesday, Thursdays on their regular monthly schedule, we'll say like, hey, for the next 2 Fridays or the next 3 Fridays, let's add an additional session in for you. We want to give you that as a gift to say thank you for referring in clientele. Our clients like our sessions. They really receive that well. They like that. We want to show extra value to that. We'll still give them our handwritten note. We'll still take them to lunch on occasion, or go golfing, or go do something to really show them. We have a favorite place in town, Beach Hut Deli, where we like to take our clients to. We have a great time there when we get to go with them. So I like to look at the idea of adding a service or adding an experience with our clientele to build our connection, rather than just discounting a session, which maybe in the moment is nice for our client to save $5 per workout, but that's for 1 cycle of billing, and then what, right? So we want to say and offer something that is a little bit deeper and a little bit more sincere, in my opinion, than just a discounted rate. So more trust, more established relationships, I hit that pretty good for you, okay? The second one that we come into, and this is probably, it's a little more rampant in this industry than I thought it would be, looking at setting prices based on how many sessions the client purchases versus the true worth of the client. So if you look at our agreement, our contract, our agreement, and I'm gonna kind of lay it out here for you in a second. We have basically our worth, our value of session, period. That's it. For a 45-minute session, this is what I'm worth. For a 75-minute session, this is what I'm worth. And that's it. That's if you buy 4, if you buy 8, if you buy 25, it just, whatever the rate is, or the session count that you want, that we sell, we are offering that flat rate because that's what I'm truly worth. And you'll see where this gets confusing for the consumer if you don't really do this, okay? So here's what typically happens. Client price rates are set. One session, on average, industry average, $70, okay? If they buy 4 sessions, it goes down to $65. If they buy 8, it goes to $60. If they buy 12, which is the most common session package purchased, is $55. Or if you're selling a monthly membership where they come in 12 times a month, similar thing. $55 if you buy 24 sessions, $50. If you buy 48 sessions, it goes down to $45. And a very good Alan Cosgrove joke is, if I buy 150, is it free? At some point, where does the number come up where you're like, I'm not going to go any lower because blank, okay? So the true value of us and our session worth has to be in there somewhere. So we see most clientele purchase the 12 session package, which is $55, then you could say your average worth or your net worth for per session is $55 a session. So my point to you, the trainer, and I see that some of our clients and our other consumers are on there, is what are you truly worth, and why don't you just charge that? Okay, because as a consumer, if I'm looking at this, I see that you're going to charge $70 for me to come in once. So basically you're punishing me financially for not investing for a longer term. Then you're going to undercharge me if I buy a ton of them, 28 sessions or 48 sessions, right? Which is undervaluing you, the trainer, me, right? It's undervaluing my services by $10 or so. So now I'm punishing me, the trainer. So I'm either punishing the client for not committing enough. You have to pay more because you're not going to commit to me longer. Or I'm going to punish me and my value because you decided to, because you trust me, right? So that can be very confusing for the consumer. Why is there such a huge price fluctuation here? What are you truly worth? And that's the ultimate question we have to come into, and it's a hard question to answer. A couple ways you can look at this. I was dry running this with my wife early this morning at 2:30 this morning while she's taking care of baby, and I'm sitting over here on my computer trying to figure out how to explain this. And she goes, well, how did you find your prices and what did you do? Well, in a either a box gym or a franchise or you know, a country club or wherever you're at, typically the prices are set. So when we come in, we don't get to set our prices, and we get an idea of what of our clients or what are they willing to invest. And then as we start to train, if we build more clientele and we see things are going well, then we're probably worth that. If you have trainers that are there working and they're available and they get a couple of people and they're not building a clientele, they're probably not worth that price. Okay, not to hurt feelings, but when people try out a product and they don't like it, either personally or experience or whatever it is, they're not going to continue to purchase it. So you have to be able to provide a service, both personally and then professionally, or the quality of your service that's worth that value or worth that perceived price. Okay, so in that environment, prices are kind of dictated. Now let's say you relocate into a new area. Look at other gyms, other services are in your area, and see what they're charging. Okay, and then be able to look at those businesses side by side with yours and say, what am I offering that they're not, or what are they offering that I'm not, and why do our prices vary? Because if one trainer is, you know, NSCA certified, Olympic weightlifting coach, kettlebell specialist, and so is the other trainer a mile away, why is one $75 and one's $55? Maybe you do a more detailed assessment. Maybe you have a cleaner and safer environment to work in. Maybe you're first aid AED and they're not. Maybe you work with older populations and they don't. Like, it just depends, right? Depends on what your services are. But you have to be able to say, in our current market, which could be 4 blocks, 8 blocks, depends on where you're at, in that current market, what are the going rates and where do I fall in there? Okay, if you have a degree, if you have a higher level of expertise, I think there's a demand for a higher investment on the consumer side because they are getting a better product. We were in the hospital going through this whole childbirthing experience, and we had one guy come in and he goes, oh, who's the doctor on tonight? And the one nurse says, and he goes, oh, okay, you guys will be good. And we both look at each other like, so if it was someone else, would we not be good? And he kind of starts laughing and he goes, hey, doctors get C's too. And that's in every profession. You have trainers out there that no personality, no experience, no interaction with people, no ability to coach, cue, progress appropriately, put people in vulnerable positions, but they have the same certification I do, or that you do, right? So we have to perceive our value of the service that we offer and how well we do it, how well we coach it, how well we progress it, how safely we do all those things, and say, what are we truly worth? Does this equate? Okay. So if you're going to ask more and invest more out of the consumer, you better be delivering more. You better have a better product. Okay. So we look at this. I really like to go with 2 options for pricing. So session length is the first thing we do as we go through with our clients. I like to joke and compare our product to phones. If you wanted a phone that just sent text messages and received phone calls, you'd buy a $20 flip phone. But we don't want that. We want something that's customized to us. We want something that is personalized, that we can put our photos in, we can pick the apps we want. And so we'll pay $500 for a phone. But what do we mostly use it for? Text messaging, phone calls, okay? Maybe email, right? So we want something that's more specific and more specialized to us. We have 2 options, something really specialized or something really generic. So we go specialized, but we have the 2 options, okay? So we pick specialized. So when a client comes into us, or a potential client comes into us, our first question isn't, when do you want to come in? Our first question is, why are you here? What hurts? What needs to get fixed? What area do you want to improve? How do you want to feel better? How do you want to look better? What is the issue, right? What do you want to train for? And once we know that, then we can trickle down the list here and say, with these physical limitations and these goals, here's the type of training that I have for you. And I've had clients that come in that they want before and after photos, they want to get in their beach body shape, they want to have, you know, the 10-year high school reunion, and they want to compete in a figure competition. I'm not your guy. And in the middle of our session, I'll say, I'm not your guy. I know people that are much better at this that you can go see. I'll hook you up with them. So number 1 is knowing my product and knowing who my consumer is and making sure that I'm picking the right fit to start before we even get to this stuff, okay? So once I know that my product, okay, my specific cell phone is the one that you want, now we're going to go down into our options. So options 2, I have a 45-minute session and I have a 75-minute session, okay? Out of those 2, how much time do you have to commit, and how, you know, how deep do you want to dive into this? And okay, I want to come for 75-minute sessions. I've been training a little bit on my own and I'm ready to kick things up a notch. Okay, 75-minute sessions. Do we want to do this? And here are our prices for it. 45-minute sessions are $30 and 75-minute sessions are $40. Mind you, we're semi-private, so I have 4 to 6 people in every hour, okay, on average. How many sessions per week do we want to do? So basically, how often do you want to come in? Typically, it's 2 to 3 times a week. Our average client comes in 3 times a week. So we would look at that and say, what is our total investment for 75-minute sessions twice a week? That's $320 is their initial investment from that, okay? Which comes down to $40 per session, twice a week for 4 weeks. If they were going to bump it up to 3 days a week, it'd be $480. If they wanted to cut down to the 45-minute sessions, it'd be $240, and so on. So we have how long sessions, price, how often, 2 or 3 times, and then initial investment. Do you want to come 2 days a week, 3 days a week? And we go from there. We have other options that are, you know, program designs for them to do while they're traveling. We have personalized mobility menus that we build with our physical therapist to send home for folks to do on their own, so they have options like that. We have additional services you can put in, but typically speaking, this is about where we're at. We know our value, we know our service, we know our consumer, we know the true price of what their investments should be, and it's competitive in this market. And that is the bottom rate. If you buy 4 of them, if you buy 8 of them, if you buy 12 of them, if you buy 24 of them, which we don't even offer, we set it up monthly on a budget where every 4 weeks our clients can assume that they're going to invest $240 and in return receive 8 sessions. Okay, and we have the environment and the facility where even when our clients are done, we're not like, okay, see you later, next clients are in. We just let them hang out. We want them to be there. We want to be part of the environment, part of our community in there. We have the space to do that. So that's where we don't do half-hour and hour-long sessions. We do 45-minute and hour and 15-minute or 75-minute sessions, because we want them to be able to get in their full mobility or their warm-up. We want them to go through all of their strength, all of their conditioning, and their Metcon, depending on the day that we have. Be able to do their full cool down and then stay, and we have stretching routines and a lot of other stuff. Typically can take 45 minutes for our half-hour workouts, or it can take an hour and 15 for our hour-long workouts. We see the value in that. We feel like the price that we offer is competitive to that, as I said, with our market, but also with the quality that we're offering. So being able to define that, put it on paper, and then have it justified by our consumers saying, yes, we see that value and we love it, that to us says we're right on target. Now, do we have clients that, you know, they want to pay $60 a month and they come in? Yeah, and unfortunately we're not the right environment for them. Or we could try to get them in once a week or once every other week to work with their budget, rather than saying, oh no, you have to commit twice a week and this has to be it. In this sense, I'd rather you come in, try it, try to experience it, do 2 workouts a month with me, see what you're learning when you come in, get to test drive basically my product. And then I'm hoping you'll see the difference between the flip phone and the iPhone or your advanced smartphone and say, I want that. Because if you see a product that you truly find value in, you'll find a way to invest in it. And so that's why we're constantly going to conferences, we're constantly learning as much as we can. I read reviews and articles, and luckily I've had the ability lately with the NSCA to start reviewing some manuscripts for some of the publications they're putting in. So I kind of get some of the info before most people get it, which is really great. And my clients, those of you that are on here, you hear me 2 or 3 times a session, oh, recent studies show, or I am constantly trying to bring that stuff in to find what is the best way or the next way or the most efficient way or the safest way to get my client one step closer to that goal. And that to me is being professional, but it's also providing justice to our client for what they're investing in, for what they're consuming in, okay? Because if I just say like, oh, my clients, I'm good, I'm just gonna keep doing what I do, they see not only my energy starts to stop and my efforts to help them get better stops, but I start perceiving things differently. I start perceiving the effort of making money rather than building my clientele, loving my clients, helping to make people better, and having my career rather than just a job, okay? So I hit that point pretty often in almost every talk, that there's a difference between personal training as a job and personal training as your career and your passion and your effort. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that it has to be 40 hours a week full time. It just means, where is your mindset? Are you officially committed 100% to doing this the way that you want to do it? And if that is the case, then you're going in the right direction. Excuse me. Get that, sorry. You're going in the right direction and you're pursuing the right thing. And if you keep doing that, you will build up to the 40 or 50 hours a week and have funds to build a retirement and to get all the benefits that you would get in a real job. My wife and I were joking about that the other day. I don't say that in a demeaning way by any means. What I mean it by when I say real job is, most of us, personal trainers as well, we want a job that is consistent, that provides benefits, and that allows us the opportunity to retire and love what we do. And so when I say a real job, like that is your 9 to 5, your basic salary-based position at most companies. Those are the things you're looking at. Do I see consistent income? Do I have opportunities for health benefits and retirement options? A chance to be happy with what I'm doing. We just don't have companies that have that like fixed and set for us, so we have to build it, right? We're the ones that have to put in those systems to make that happen. So by no means am I poo-pooing on the idea of working a 9 to 5 job. By no means at all. Our position is difficult, but I want to build the real job statistics that we see in those positions in our industry, because then we'd have more people staying. That's probably one of the biggest issues trainers leave, is because they don't have the opportunity for those things, okay? My email address, robertlinkle@gmail.com. This says on here, if you want more information, I have all these great articles I can send you. Feel free to email me. I can send them over. If you want today's PDF from the things you could not see on here, I'm happy to send you that as well. And then all my personal information on there. You can find me on Facebook, obviously, on Instagram, LinkedIn, and so on. Thank you for joining me. I'm sorry we don't have the big screen and our normal setup in the gym, but here is our little one. Make the switch. I'm going to take a little look here. I saw Grandma and Grandpa on here just a second ago. So here she is making her FaceTime appearance. Hopefully you can see her okay. Doing my little Heisman pose on occasion. But hopefully she'll be running around the gym here soon. We're pretty excited with the new addition and our newest member of the Be Stronger community. Thank you all for joining us today. Have a really great day. If you have questions, let me know. And we appreciate it. Thanks, guys. See ya.